Hi, and welcome to another Taste of Fusion. What do we have in store for you today? Well, we have baked onions farci, I'll tell you about those later. Following that with a bhuna gosht or an Italian roast, which I'm fusing for you. And for dessert, the obvious, the glorious Rasmalai with our little fusion twist to it. So now, I've got to pick up my veg and I've got to get back and get cooking ASAP. Right, so now we've picked up our veg. I just have to go pick up my meat now from the meat shop and we're ready to get home and get fusing today. So let's go. Right, so we're going to start off with our main course today, which is our Italian roast a la bhunava gosht. For that, I'm going to need about 1 kg of the dasti, or the front leg of lamb as we got, mutton. And we're going to pop that into a bowl. There we go. Straight into this, what I'm going to do is add in a teaspoon of red chili flakes, about half a teaspoon of black pepper, half a teaspoon of garam masala. Now this is a mix of different spices. You've got cloves in there, black pepper, some cardamom, big elaichi. All that goes in. A nice teaspoon of salt, and then we just mix it up. So mix that in. Take your red grape vinegar. And instead of waiting to put it all into the pan, add everything into the bowl. It saves you time and you can get cooking very quickly. So pour in about, I would say about 200 mils of this. Remember, this is the base of your stock or your syrup. And throw in simple pods of garlic. And now we're ready to get this on a plate. Now traditionally, this takes a very long time to cook. So what you do is before you start your appetizers, get your meat on, get it on a flame, get it going, so then you can carry on with the rest of your meal preparation without having to worry about this. So we've got a medium-high flame, get some olive oil, and sort of coat your pan quite liberally. Now straight in, there we go. Sizzling already, so be careful, turn your flame down slightly. Remember, you want your meat to brown. You don't want it to start cooking or boiling. You just want it to sear on the outside before you start the braising process. Don't throw in all the vinegar, leave some for the end. Stir it around for a few minutes. Make sure that the meat is nicely browned. Once you think the meat is nicely browned and evenly coated with the juices, what you do is throw in the rest of your vinegar straight in. And pour in a good 400 mils of water. Essentially, the water should cover your meat and immerse it completely. You're going to cook this on a medium heat. You don't want to cook it too fast because the meat won't cook all the way through, or it just might break apart at the bone, which will give you all these gritty bits, and there's no fun in roast like that. So your meat's in there, put a lid on. A medium flame, and I'm ready to start with my appetizer. For that we need an oven dish and some glorious red onions. Now what I've done with the red onions here is very simple. I've peeled them and I've scooped out the insides using a sharp knife or a spoon. It's created this lovely little pocket and a very cute pagoda hat, which I'm going to keep. It's going to look very, very pretty. I'm going to make a stuffing for this. Now this recipe is a traditional French/Italian recipe, which is about a baked onion. I'm making my own stuffing using some ingenious things and some spices which will zest it all up and make a lovely little fusion appetizer. So for this, we need some bread. Now, plain old white bread, I've left it out. I've sort of hardened it up a little bit. Why? Because stale bread makes great breadcrumb. Now, this is not stale. It's just been sitting out for a while. It's going to soak in all the juices from our cheese, from the thyme, the honey, all the little herbs that we're going to use. So very simple. Get your knife and just strip the bread. Now cut these into sort of little croutons. Throw in a little breadcrumb at the bottom. So now you've got your bread base. Into this you're going to throw in a pinch of thyme. Little pinches of salt straight in, and this, a little honey. I think honey and onion goes beautifully well together, and it's a glorious little fusion element. straight in. On top of this, I'm going to throw in a pinch of red chili, because remember, the sugar and the honey is going to bring out the fieriness of the chili. Now, bang, onto this, some cheddar cheese. I've just grated this. I'm putting this in because I want the cheese to sort of give my onion a sort of mouthful to it. Now, cover them up. Onto your baking tray or your oven dish. Throw on some olive oil at the base, and then with each onion, layer some oil on top, because this will help the outsides cook, while the moisture inside will help all the bread, the cheese and all the herbs come together. And just the last touch, a little salt on the outside. Use your fingers just to rub the salt on. Remember, the oil will help it stick as well. And that's done. Now this goes straight into your oven at 180 degrees for about 15 minutes. Lovely little appetizer. It's been fused. Right, and that's done. And now for dessert, which you will catch me making after this break. Okay, and now for dessert. What are we going to do today? Well, we're going to take some cottage cheese or paneer, which is fat-free, mind you. We're going to make our own version of a fusion rasmalai. We need 2 ramekins, into which we're going to spoon in a little cottage cheese at the bottom. Into this, I'm going to pop in some sugar, straight in there. I'm not going to mix the two together. I'm going to let the sugar coat this and become somewhat crunchy. There we go. It's just enough to cover, the top of the cheese. Nothing more. And then, of course, my condensed milk. In it goes. The cheese is completely coated and covered. I thought to myself, what can we do to our desserts? How can we incorporate fruit or fuse fruit into them? So what I'm going to do today with my rasmalai fusion is I'm going to add in a little banana. Peel your banana. Make sure it's slightly hard, because you want this banana to sort of caramelize and sort of like fry or bake, rather than sort of melt down into your rasmalai. And then some nice little slices. Into the center. Right at the end, we're going to take some elaichi or some cardamom. Now I'm not going to put the cardamom in, I'm just going to take my little pestle and mortar and break it down to get out the little seeds of the cardamom or elaichi dana. Just going to grind it down and just sprinkle a dusting on top. Now this goes into your oven for about 10 to 12 minutes. While our appetizer is still in there, take it over. And in it goes. Multitasking all the way on a taste of fusion. Okay, so our dessert's in there, our appetizer's in there, our meat's going to take another hour to cook. Remember, this type of meat, even if you're roasting it, 2 kg, you give about 45 minutes. We've used a kg in there, but I want to cook it down, so I'm going to cook it for an hour at least. It's been on there for about 20-25 minutes. I've still got a while to go, so what I'm going to do is make a glorious little salad that's going to be the base to this delicious roast. Bhunawa gosht style, of course. Now for my salad, I've got some iceberg lettuce. I've got some tomatoes that I have peeled and skinned. Very simple. Don't need to put them in boiling water, just take the tops off and slice around the edges quite finely. And you have these lovely peeled tomatoes. I'm going to use some red pepper, orange pepper, and a glorious yellow pepper. Not too much, just different colors to make a plate look really rich. And we're going to throw in a little fusion element. We're going to use some pomegranate to give us a lovely contrast there. Okay, now to start off with, the thing I did not mention, cucumber. Slice them up, throw them straight into the middle of your plate. Use your cucumber as a base. onto this, I'm going to center some tomato slices. A salad, like any other meal, a fusion meal at least, is all about construction. You have to know how and which layer is going to give off water, how it's going to look, how pretty things are going to be, and of course, what flavors will bring out the taste in the vegetables that you're using. Just use that. Now, for your lettuce, just rip some leaves off. Now what I'm going to do is, because I'm staying with Italian rustic cooking, I'm not actually going to chop them. I'm just going to use my hands and tear up some leaves. And scatter. Slice some red pepper. Remember, if you can't slice on the top, just make little sliced slivers from the inside. It's much easier to chop. Keep the yellow ones slightly thicker because you want to use them, you want to have a little bit more bite with them because they're a bit watery and they have an intense flavor. They're a lot sweeter than the red ones. Some around the sides. And of course, let's not forget the little orange ones. Why leave them out? Into little choppy. We'll just chop them up a little bit. There you go. Little jewels all over the place. And remember, the crunch of the pomegranate, the freshness of the pomegranate is just going to blow your mind. Onto this, some olive oil. Just drizzle it on gently. Some black pepper, a pinch of salt, and little pinches of red chili. And of course, my favorite fusion element, adding a little sugar to spice. Honey, just a teaspoon of. And we're done. Our plate is ready for our meat when it comes out. And I think our appetizer is done, and so is our dessert. Let me take them out, after which we'll take a break, and then we'll wait for our guests to come to dig into this glorious food. Oh, this looks amazing. Be very careful not to burn your hands. Now remember, you want to serve these slightly cool, so let them cool down before you serve them. And our lovely little appetizer of our little baked onions. How beautiful is that? So this is done. I have my glorious dessert, my beautiful pagoda-esque appetizer, my fabulous base for my main course. And now I just have to wait for my guest to arrive and my meat to get done. My guest is a really cool friend of mine. She's so she's versatile, and then she's bubbly, she's completely vivacious and full of life, and she's a little bit saucy too. So I think that she's gonna have her hands full with the taste of fusion, and I'm gonna have my hands full with her. So let's take a break and wait to see what happens next. Now for the final touches on our food. I'm going to start with my dessert. What I'm going to do is throw on a couple of drops of rose water. What this will do is cut through the saltiness of the paneer at the bottom to give the ras or the syrup feeling to everything around here. So just drop on a couple of drops, not too much. Drizzle on a little honey, a little decadence. Throw on a little bit more of this condensed milk. Right, so dessert's done. Grab a plate and put on your lovely little baked onions and garnish your plate with a little sprinkling of parsley. I'll throw on pomegranates because we seem to be fusing everything with pomegranate today. And now for the final touches on our main course, which has been bubbling away and is ready. The secret ingredient, the pièce de résistance. cheddar cheese. That's all we need to do. Now, let's take a look at this. Oh, yes. Be careful so the steam doesn't come up in your face. Throw in about half a packet of cheese or half a tin of cheese which has just been grated. And that's it. Turn the heat off, take your meat directly out and place it into the center of your salad plate. Right, so there you have it. I'm ready with everything. I've got my dessert, my appetizer and my main course, and now I'm going to join my guest outside to start eating. I'm okay. I have been cooking up a storm for you today.
Yes, I will eat everything.
I have got for you over here.
Actually, sorry, I can't eat. No.
What? No!
I am model actor, not eating. No. I will smell it.
Well, you see now, even if you did smell it, you wouldn't get fat because I made everything in the low-fat option, so I think you have to go with it.
Okay.
All right? All right.
I'm
so,
easy.
For starters, we have this baked onion. Okay. Are you excited?
I am, yes. I am. What's for dessert?
I can't tell you because I would bring out that characteristic in you which you'd expect dessert to be eaten first, but I can't let you do that. So I'm not going to tell you till the end.
Okay. Okay, so now you're feeding me onions. Is my mouth going to smell bad? Do I have to talk to people like this now?
Well, because it's not fried, because it's baked and it's excreted all the sweetness, you find that it doesn't taste oniony in that fashion at all.
It's sweet.
When you bake an onion with salt, it releases its sugars. So it doesn't release its bitterness or its tanginess. And you put in thyme into the mix, and all of a sudden the thyme, because it's a very pungent herb, will overpower any other thing. So this breath that you're going to get is thyme.
This is really good, Poppy.
Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. Now you're tucking into the main course.
I tucked in already.
Oh my God. That's what I'm interested in. My Bhunava Ghost / Italian roast.
It's very soft and very juicy. I like it. I'm not big on meat. I'm not a meat eater. Yum.
So, okay.
Look, I'm not asking you what all you put in the food because it's alien language to me, but I'm loving it and I'll eat a lot.
Right. That's at the end of the day, silence at dinner time or silence while one is eating actually speaks for the food. And it's amazing that you don't like ghost but you're eating it. You thought you'd have onion breast but you're eating that. So I'm going to let you carry on eating. I'm going to get you dessert. Help yourself to some more. I'll be back in a minute.
I ate the onions, very good. I still don't know what's inside it and I think I'm not going to ask her. She told me but I don't remember. I think I'll let this remain a mystery. But I love the meat. It's cooked so well. It doesn't smell of meat, which is what puts me off. I love it.
Rasmalai fusion style.
Wow.
So, dig in.
You said rasmalai, bananas,
Yeah.
and
Condensed milk, honey, a little cardamom, elaichi, some rose water, gulab ka ark, and some honey. And a little bit of sugar.
I love it.
Wow! It's a hit! We have a Taste of Fusion winner. Everything has been a winner regardless of what Aisha might have said to me in the musing section. But that was, she was just saying that because she loves me and I'm her friend and now she's eating and her mouth is full so she can't say anything in her defense. But Aisha, honestly, thank you so much for coming on the show, hanging out with me and eating all this food. And there's loads more for you to eat. I've got tons. So, you guys, thank you so much for joining us. See you again next week on A Taste of Fusion. If there's something you want to see me fuse or you want to challenge me to do something, write in on A Taste of Fusion at dawnnews.tv. Until next week, take care. We're going to finish up here. Thank you. How's that?
That was very good.
Thank you.
Wow, kya baat.